Reproduction in animals. Learning objectives. Reproduction in animals. Animals that lay eggs. Other egg-laying animals. Animals that give birth to babies. Reproduction is one of the main features of living organisms. Life on Earth can continue when plants and animals reproduce to make their offspring like themselves. The process by which living beings produce more of their own types is known as reproduction. Penguins with their babies. Humans with their kids. Monkey with their young ones. Lions with their young ones. Fish with their young ones. Elephant with babies. Reproduction in animals. Animals can be grouped into two groups, those which give birth to living offsprings. The second group is formed of animals which lay eggs that eventually hatch into offspring. Those animals which give birth to live offspring are called live-bearing or viviparous. Those animals which lay eggs are called egg-laying or oviparous. Animals that lay eggs. Insects, birds, reptiles, butterfly, frog and fish are some animals that lay eggs. The young ones of these animals come out after hatching and look like their parents. Egg structure. Eggs are made up of four major parts. 1. The eggshell. An egg is covered with hard shell called eggshell. The shell of the egg is rigid but brittle, and protects the contents of the egg. The shell makes up 11% of the weight of the entire egg. Egg structure. Albumin, egg whites. Inner membrane. Air cell. Outer membrane. Yolk. Shell. 2. The shell membrane. Within the shell is the shell membrane, a thin, semi-permeable membrane made up of two layers, the inner and outer. After the egg is laid, its contents cool and shrink. The air cell at the large end of the egg is formed during this shrinkage by separation of the two membranes. 3. The yolk. It is the yellow-colored part found in the center of egg. It has the developing baby called the embryo. It also provides food to the growing embryo. The yolk contains vitamins, fat and minerals. 4. Albumin. Surrounding the yolk is the egg white, which is called albumin. It is a clear jelly-like substance which makes up 58% of the weight of the egg. There are two layers in the egg white. A thick layer of white immediately surrounds and protects the embryo and provides water to it. It is rich in proteins. Birds. All birds reproduce by laying eggs with hard shells. They build nests to protect the eggs from weather and predators. The father and the mother birds almost always sit on the eggs to keep them warm until they hatch. The young ones hatch out of the eggs. It takes a few weeks for their feathers to develop and for them to be big enough to fly. While the female is incubating the eggs, the male will guard them. If a predator gets too close, the male will make a lot of noise and fly around to try to distract the predator from the nest. He will also deliver food to the female as she sits on the nest. After the eggs are laid, one of the birds, usually the mother, sits on them to keep them warm. The embryo begins growing inside the eggs. After a few weeks, when the embryo is fully developed, the small bird inside breaks, opens the shell and comes out. Life cycle of a bird. Hen. Eggs. Hatching. Chicks. Rooster. Adults. Frog. Frog eggs are laid in the water and the male releases sperm to fertilize them. The eggs hatch within 3 to 25 days. Young frogs are called tadpoles and look more like little fish. Tadpoles survive mainly on algae. As it changes into the adult body form, the tadpole starts to grow hind limbs. After both pairs of limbs are complete and it has exchanged its scales for lungs, the young frog crawls out on land. Its tail becomes shorter and finally disappears. Life cycle of a frog. Adult frog. Egg mass. Tadpole. Tadpole with legs. Young frog. Butterflies. Butterfly begins its life as an egg. When a butterfly's egg hatches, The young looks very different from the adult. Pupa of butterflies and moths undergo complete metamorphosis. Life cycle of butterfly has 4 prominent physical appearances, which are discussed below. 1. Egg. A female butterfly lays eggs in clusters on the underside of a leaf. 2. Larvae. The larvae hatch from an egg. It looks like worms. The larva of a butterfly is called a caterpillar. The caterpillar eats leaves or flowers almost constantly. 3. Pupa. Caterpillar forms a shell called a cocoon around its body. This stage is called pupa. In this stage, pupa does not eat anything. 4. Adult. Inside the pupa, the caterpillar slowly changes its shape. A beautiful, flying adult emerges. There is no growth during this stage. This adult will continue the cycle and reproduce. Life cycle of a butterfly. Adult. Egg. Caterpillar. Chrysalis. Adult emerges. Other egg-laying animals. Fish. A fish lays thousands of eggs at a time in water. The eggs of fish are jelly-like. Fish eggs are fertilized externally. These eggs do not have a shell and would dry out in the air. When fish have babies or lay eggs, it is called spawning. Baby fish hatches out of the eggs. Out of these, only a few hundred grow into baby fish, as many of the eggs and baby fish are eaten up by a big fish. Life cycle of a fish. Adult fish. Eggs. Fry. Reptiles. Reptiles like snakes, turtles, crocodiles, tuatara and lizards lay eggs, but some give birth to babies. Female reptiles lay their eggs or give birth to their babies on land. Some female turtles and crocodiles bury their eggs. A few turtle species lay their eggs in leaf piles. After laying the eggs, the female turtle goes away and never comes back. Many of these eggs are eaten by other animals and only some hatch to grow into adults. The mother crocodiles care for their young ones, bringing the new hatched life from the nest to the water. Animals that give birth to babies. Animals like humans, lions, tigers, cows and bears give birth to babies. Animals which give birth to young ones and feed them on their milk are called mammals. Sci facts. A young fish is called fry. Female kangaroos have a pouch for carrying their young ones. The young ones can live in the pouch for up to 8 months. Mammals. Mammals are among the most intelligent of all living creatures and also, in many ways, the most highly developed. Their bodies are covered with hair. Cats, horses, goats, rabbits, deer and elephants are the examples of mammals. The babies are formed inside the body of the mother, where they live for few weeks before being born. When they are born, they are too weak and helpless. They gradually grow and are able to feed by their mother or themselves. A cow with its calf. A dog with its puppy. A lion with its cub. A cat with its kittens. Summary. The process by which living beings produce more of their own types is known as reproduction. Animals can be grouped into 2 groups, live-bearing or viviparous and egg-laying or oviparous. Insects, birds, reptiles, butterfly, frog and fish are some animals that lay eggs. Eggs are made up of 4 major parts: the eggshell, the shell membrane, the yolk, and albumin. Young frogs are called tadpoles and look more like little fish. When fish have babies or lay eggs, it is called spawning. Mammals are among the most intelligent of all living creatures. Keywords. Embryo, an unborn or unhatched or developing baby inside eggs.